Hello, and welcome once again to Our Geek This Week, the show I record in the middle of our spare bedroom, the premise of which is the fact that I am a borderline hoarder. Well, really? Well, maybe so. But I have a ton of boxes from Amazon, full of comics and graphic novels, that I need to get open because we're cleaning out the spare bedroom to turn it into my office. And since COVID, I've got quite the collection of comics that I have yet to read, let alone open. So, however, that being the premise, I'm changing things up this week. Because again, it's not, hey, Hoarder opens a bunch of boxes full of comics. That's not the name of the show. The name of the show is Our Geek This Week. So, changing things up ever so slightly. November 3rd through the 5th, we had the Grand Rapids Comic-Con in town. Obviously, I live near Grand Rapids. Been to that con several times now. It's a very good con. Been growing year after year. Really enjoy it. So, we've mentioned it before on the podcast I'm on, the Kybercast. And one of the things I do there is not only take in the sites, see other geeks, see some of the media guests that are there. I also I usually end up buying a lot of comics. So, figured we'd change things up this episode. Like I said, usually the premise is I open boxes from Amazon where I've ordered comics. I open about 5. I talk about what made me excited about this and why I purchased it. But this week, I bought a bunch of comics at the GR Comic Con this year. Again, it was November 3rd through the 5th in 2023. And I wanted to take the time to go over what I purchased and why I purchased it. A lot of these are deals. That's the big thing. When I used to go to the Chicago Comic-Con years ago, the Wizard World Chicago, I don't know if it's still active or what it's called now. I know C2E2 is pretty big there in Chicago now, but I used to go, and I always looked for the half-off trade guy. I love trades, but let's face it, if you want to check out a series or maybe a chunk of something you don't usually read, the half-off trade guy, I called him that because it was always a guy, but wherever you can find half-off trades is fantastic. Or if you can find someone that's selling trades for $5 a trade or so, that's also good. So there's always a booth there on the end towards the west side of the building that usually has some pretty good deals, like $5 trades, or I think it's like $6, but if you buy 5, you can get them for $20. So essentially $5 each. But this year I noticed they had a sale side, and because it was Sunday, the already marked off prices were also half of that. Now, some of these prices I thought were the actual price. I was more than happy to pay it. And then they took half off of that. Remember, none of these videos are edited because I'm not the kind of YouTube guy. This is off the cuff, very amateur. This is what you're going to get. But anyway, let's talk about comics. So, apologies for the rustling that's going to happen. They're in this plastic bag that I pulled them out of. But let's look at some of the comics I purchased at the GR Comic Con this year. First one is Age of Bronze, Sacrifice by Eric Shanower. I hope I have that right. It's the story of the Trojan War. I have heard many good things about this book. So when I had an opportunity to grab it for $5, I said, why not? It's very low risk, and really, the way comics are nowadays, I mean, when I stopped collecting floppies, I think they were like $2.99 to $3.99 each. Last I checked, some of them were $3.99, $4.99 or more. So when you consider the fact you can get an entire, like, maybe a series or at least a mini series for $5, how do you say no to that? So I had heard good things about this, so I grabbed it. $5, The Age of Bronze, Sacrifice. Next up on my plastic bag is another Age of Bronze. The Age of Bronze, 1,000 Ships. Again, by Eric Shanower. I hope I'm getting that name right. If not, I do apologize. This is book 1. Looks like the other one I pulled up was, it's book 2. So, $10 for what? A whole mess of comics, probably anywhere between, looks like these are at least 6 issues, if not more. So, you're looking at least a dozen comic books for like $10. Again, heard great things about this. Is a cheap way to check it out. If I don't like it, I'm out $5. Worst comes worst, I can donate it or give it to someone else that's interested. So, those are the first 2, both Age of Bronze books. Next, Crime Syndicate. This is about the Crime Syndicate of America. In this case, it's just called the Crime Syndicate. For those of you not in the know, it is basically the evil versions of the Justice League. You have Ultraman, Superwoman, and Power Ring, I think the guy's name is. I don't remember all their names off the top of my head, but I've always been interested in this concept. I heard that this is, it depends. Everyone likes different comics. I've heard good things, I've heard bad things, but again, I think I paid $5 for it. So, again, it's a low cost risk. And if I like it, cool. If not, oh well. But I like the concept. There's something cool about the evil versions of the Justice League. So, I think it was Earth 2 by Grant Morrison and Frank Quitely. I've been meaning to check that out. It came out years and years ago. This is obviously not that, but it's the same, effectively pretty much the same team. So, we'll check that out. Let's keep going. This one is Phonogram, Rule Britannia. And I'm kind of circling around here, so that way my mic still catches it up. This is by Kieran Gillen and John McKelvey. Gillen has worked for Marvel and DC. I believe he's actually, at the time of this recording, I think he's doing some work on the X-Men line. This is one of his independent books from Image from several years ago. I want to say, let's see here. I got to look here without my glasses on. I don't know. It's 6 inches, though, of his acclaimed miniseries. Every cover kind of is an homage to an album cover from Britpop in the 90s. Again, this is a book that I'd heard great things about and meant to get to at some point, and finally found it for cheap. So I said, why not? $5 for normally a $20 graphic novel. I'm in. So, Phonogram, Rue Britannia. Did I say Rule before? Rue Britannia. My bad. So, keep moving along. All right, as you can see, this one is still sealed. It is The Secret Empire. For those of you that remember, Marvel did an event a few years ago where basically, I think it was, I don't remember exactly, it was the Red Skull, I think, was talking to a sentient version of the Cosmic Cube that we had seen in the first Avengers movie. And he basically rewrote history and created a evil Steve Rogers who believed that Hydra were the good guys, and he basically became, Captain Hydra. This is that story of Captain America, basically Captain America being evil and then redeeming himself. I'm assuming, I haven't read it. I'd heard good things about it. Again, it's an event, so if you're into it, cool. If not, but I really couldn't say no. I'd heard of it, never actually read it, because again, I don't buy the floppies and I don't buy the series like I used to. This was $24 for all of this, which is normally, this hardcover has a cover price of $60. Whether or not you actually pay that, that's another thing. But already it was more than 50% off. I got this for half off. And as you can see, it's still sealed. So $12 for all of this hardcover. If the story is even mid-level, that's still a pretty good deal. So, Secret Empire from Marvel. Should name the creators. There's a whole bunch. Spencer, McNiven, Sorrentino, Yu, Acuna, Race, and Cassara. Apologies for my old man eyes. I need bifocals, but refuse to get them because I'm stubborn. Next, American Jesus, Chosen by Mark Millar and Peter Gross. I think I actually have the original issues of this. It was a great series. I believe this was back when Mark Millar had first launched his Millar World franchise, his branding, and he specifically put all of his comics across different lines. He did some for Image, did some for Dark Horse. I think he did some for Boom. And he was basically trying to promote his own brand. So I've read this. I read the first one. I believe there are 2 at least. Read the first one previously when it first came out, when I used to still buy the actual single issues and floppies. And it was on sale for $2. And again, 50% off that. So for $1 for the trade, I figured why not? I don't have to go dig up my old issues. I can reread this. And I think there is a second series that I'll check out as well. So for $1, it's no thought. What do? You get it. Next, if you can read this or not, this is X-Men Hellfire Gala. I've been buying the various trades of the X-Men. Way behind, probably 3 years behind, and right now they're in the middle of Fall of X, so they're bringing the Krakoa era to an end. Terribly behind on my part because that's how I roll, but this is a book that I would have bought eventually. It was listed for $4 special. Again, I found it on 50% off on Sunday, so I paid $2 for this trade. It was something I was going to end up buying anyway to add to my collection. So again, it was a no-brainer. I had to grab it. So this is, like I said, the collection of the Hellfire Gala. This is from, let me see, Marauders from 2019, 21, X-Men 21, Planet Size, X-Men 1, and Sword number 6. There you go. As you can see, we've already done, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 books. Again, usually the limit on this show is 5, but this is, again, everything I picked up at the Comic-Con. So we're going to keep moving. Next is The Magic Order. Again, another Millar World book. This one is Mark Millar, and I'm going to screw up the name because I believe it's French. Olivier Coipel. Again, sorry if I butchered it. I don't mean to. It's not intentional. I'm just terrible with French. Anyway, sorry for the long, deep breath there. The Magic Order by Mark Millar. I have purchased many of the Mark Millar titles. You know, he'll do a quick 4 to 6 issues. My favorite is, the Jupiter's Legacy and those books. Those are really good. I heard this was, his venture into magic and kind of doing kind of his thing along those lines. Kind of like what they did with Justice League Dark. And again, for $1, this writer and this artist, I don't know how you say no to that. For even if it's terrible, I mean, you spend $1, right? So, plan on checking this out. The Magic Order by Mark Millar and Olivier Coipel. Coipel? I don't know. I apologize again. Okay, got a couple more here. Okay, another indie book. Coffin Bound. This was already on my wish list on Amazon. It was one of those indie books from Image that I was probably planning on checking out at some point in time anyway. Probably waiting for a price drop, or probably just waiting for me to get to it eventually. Which, again, I have so many comics, so probably would have been a while. But found it on sale. It was $1 for this. So how do you say no to this? So once again, Coffin Bound. It's by Dan Waters, Dan Waters, Danny, Brad Simpson, Aditya Bidikar. So it basically says if you like Waters' work on Lucifer, this is even weirder. Not read his work on Lucifer, but again, this looks like a nice dark macabre type comic. Kind of speaks to me, and well, like I said, it was $1, so why not? I think we have one more. Okay. For anyone that follows me on social media or listens to our podcast or checks out the Kybercast, either any of our Instagram accounts or Twitter account, or a Thread account, I have mentioned before I'm a big fan of the entire Red Rising novels. At this point, 6 novels are out. The first trilogy is all about Darwin. The second trilogy is too, but the narrator is all Darwin in the first trilogy. The second set of books was supposed to be a trilogy as well, but Pierce Brown had so much to say. There's not going to be 4 books in the second series. The narrator switches places. It's not all Darwin. There are different characters. But this is I think some backstory or a side story of how, I think it's about the origin of the Sons of Ares, or maybe it's more about, what they did that's not talked about within the books. And I heard this come out. It is from Dynamite. It's one of those things I plan on checking out at some point anyway, probably digitally. But for $1, it's from a series I already know I love book-wise. The comic for me then is no-brainer for $1. I mean, it's, how many issues here? I don't know. It's a 6-issue collection of 160 pages. So, again, I have to do this because I'm old and refuse to get bifocals. And I think that might be it. Oh, let's see here. There might be something else in here. No, just the guide to the Comic-Con. Sorry for all the noise on the plastic bag there, but that's it. That's my haul from the Grand Rapids Comic-Con. I didn't spend all that much money. I think I spent around maybe 40, 50 bucks. I know it's silly because I do have so many comics I need to open up already, but I'm a comic book collector, and eventually I'll read these. Hopefully, hopefully I don't die before I get them done. Anyway, that's the episode. That's this episode, and hope you enjoy. And if you like it, there is the subscribe button, and come on back. And again, I'll be opening comics that I've gotten boxes and talking about why I like them or why I bought them. Thanks a lot.